Good day to everyone. I am Pragada Andre Stephen D of BSMT S4 India. Today, I would like to give you a knowledge about the history of Exxon Valdez incident. We are all familiar in this incident, mostly and especially anyone related to our profession. First start, on 24th day on March in 1989, the Exxon Valdez incident happens. One of the most oil catastrophic of the 20th century. How did this accident happen? The U.S. tank ship Exxon Valdez had departed Port of Valdez in Alaska, 1,263,000 barrels of crude oil when it grounded Bridge Reef in Prince William Sound near Valdez, Alaska. At the time of grounding, the vessel was under the navigational control of Third Mate. Specifically, according to the report of National Transportation of Safety Board or NTSB, the third mate and the master of Exxon Valdez were on the bridge, moments before the accident. The two men were discussing about the route of the ship. When the master told the third mate that he would leave the bridge for a little while, he also instructed him to inform him, the master, when the ship was about to return to traffic lanes, leaving the third mate charging of this. A little later, the third mate ordered the hard right to return to traffic lanes and inform the master through a phone call. When the call ended, the third mate noticed that the course of the vessel had not changed. Namely, he said that despite of the fact that the ship was swinging right, the rudder did not show that. After a few moments, he called again the master, telling him, "I think we are in serious trouble." At the end of the call, the ship hit the bottom and it sustained series of sharp jolts about 10 seconds. The third mate then tried to steer left, but because of the hard swinging right, the vessel could not turn left. When the ship stopped, the third mate reported that he smelled gas and crude oil vapor. About 258,000 barrels of cargo were spilled in the sea. The damage of the vessel was estimated about $25 million. The cost of lost cargo at $3.4 million. And the cost of cleanup oil spill at $1.85 billion. That's too expensive. No injuries, but 258,000 barrels of cargo were spilled, resulting in catastrophic to the environment. This spill had an enormous effect on animals and the coastline, also in the indigenous population. First, the amount of the oil spill could fill 125 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Imagine how large is that. Immediate effects included deaths of 100,000 seabirds, sea otters, river otters, bald eagles, orcas, and a known number of salmon and herring. Third, the spill caused over $300 million of economic harm to more than 32,000 whose livelihood depend on commercial fishing. Let's go now to the investigation part. Investigators later learned that Joseph Hazelwood, the captain of Exxon Valdez, drinking at that time and allowed the unlicensed third mate Gregory Cousins to steer the massive ship. In March 1990, Hazelwood was acquitted felony charges. He was convicted single-charge misdemeanor negligence, fined $50,000, and ordered to perform 1,000 hours of community service. So, going back to the cleanup operations, oil spill cleanup in the month after the Exxon Valdez oil spill, Exxon employees, federal responders, and more than 11,000 Alaska residents work on cleanup of the oil spill. Exxon paid about $2 billion cleanup costs, $1.8 billion for habitat, restoration, and personal damages related to this spill. Because of what happened, the Oil Pollution Act of 1990 was created. In the wake of Exxon Valdez oil spill, the U.S. Congress passed the Oil Pollution Act of 1990, which President George Bush signed into law that year. After several years, the the local economy haven't recovered yet. After the oil spill, Exxon became the industry leader in safety. Millions of federal dollars were designated for cleanup research. Congress required better contingency planning. In addition, on fate of Exxon Valdez, the ship Exxon Valdez, first commissioned in 1986, was repaired and returned to service a year after spill in different ocean and under different name. The single-hulled ship could no longer transport in oil U.S. water due to the new regulations. The ship began running oil transport routes in Europe, where single-hulled oil tankers were still allowed. There it was renamed the Exxon Mediterranean, then the Sea River Mediterranean, and finally SNR Mediterranean. And that's all. Hope you enjoy and you learned a lot from the history of Exxon Valdez from me. Thank you. Goodbye.